Hmm. Good morning.
Good morning, Aaron. How are you feeling
How,
today?
rubbish. But good, but good.
Hey, tell me all about it.
I had a weird experience. Like I got a virus,
Ooh.
and I was like, "Oh, what's going on there?" And I was like, "That's weird." Um, and then last night, it was like I went to bed at 6 o'clock because I was just like knocked out, and it was like my whole body was drained, and it kind of just went into sort of shutdown and restoration mode. And it was like my brain waves just went so low and so slow. I was just getting like download after download after download after download. Like it was the weirdest night ever. So it's like
Uh,
amazing experience, but really weird. But so yeah,
Interesting.
odd. How are
Yeah.
you?
Uh, Pretty good. It's been an interesting night as well. Loads of like dreams and really random, like going from different places, scenes, and everything. What I've been doing is every morning I just wake up. First thing I do is pick my notebook, write down everything I remember from the dreams.
Mm,
And a lot of the things like the Merkaba and stuff like that, they all the visions came through the dreams, like put it together, look at it upside down, and things like that. So the instructions were really like they're small pieces, but really interesting. Also, a lot of dream visions with like Jesus, with Muslim prophets, with Buddha and stuff like that. So it's been really like the dream vision where has been a place where I kind of like connect with like everybody in the cosmos, especially with ascended master and stuff like that. So last night has been like really with random dreams here and there and lots of waking up, but I just finished my meditation, so that like like close my eyes, like that automatically puts me in that in that magic golden zone that you talk about. It's like just right
yeah.
there. So I'm just gonna quickly get our notes out. In the meantime, let me get this up. Anything else going on?
Yeah, something I wanted to share with you actually. I was reading the E-Myth book over Christmas. Have you read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you would have done. And it gave me a really kind of like big realization that's really important with the work that we're going to do. And you know how he talks about McDonald's and he uses them as a model, and he talks about how McDonald's understood, or Ray Kirk understood, that their customer wasn't the people going in to buy the burgers. Their main customer was the franchisees that were going to buy the businesses. And it really gave me a bit of a realization about, combined with another realization I had when I was doing some training with a guy called Blair Singer. And I don't know if you've heard of him, but he works with Tony Robbins and all the big names. Like he's well up there. I mean, he's very successful. And I was doing one of his training programs just before Christmas. And I realized that one of the reasons I've been struggling to get my business where I want it to be is because I'm giving people all of the personal development, but I'm not giving them the technical skills. So I need to combine giving people technical skills as well as the personal development and the spiritual work. And then, so that was one realization. And then as I was reading the E-Myth book, I realized that my main customer is not the people who are going to come because they want to become super conscious creators, because they want to, get their wants in life. They want to manifest whatever it is they want to manifest. They're not my main customers. They're the people that are going in to buy the burgers. They're very important. But my main customers are the people that are going to come and buy the license for the franchise prototype, which is a plug and play coaching business.
Yes, yes, yes.
So what the goal is to do is still very similar to what I spoke to you about. It's almost the same. It's just a different viewpoint, but it's creating a plug and play coaching business. So giving them the process, giving them the marketing strategies, giving them like the website, so they'll get a page, you know, part of the license. When they buy the license off me, they'll get a page which they can just basically put their name on and, you know, change their own personal details on using our branding. And, you know, but obviously I'll be running Conscious Success, and I'll be doing some events. There'll be certain trainings that only I can do. Yes. So the people that buy the franchise prototype of Conscious Success, the plug and play coaching business, the license for that, their customers will also get access to my trainings. Yes, so I'll be running the mother business, and then they'll be buying the license for the sub franchises.
Yes, everything you're talking about right now, I already saw it. Everything, really, the whole systemization of a business, ultimately what you are doing is we are taking your business and converting it into a cell, like an organism, a cell at the smallest step. And each of this cell is made of these little atoms. Like the atom is like the little pieces of puzzle in the business, like how to do this, the marketing, the technical stuff, all of that. So these little cells that we start with, you know, that's how we like start the different departments, similar to what the email did. So we're using a lot of like the fundamentals from that as well, and a few other books and my mentors and everything. So like, I'm grateful that you've actually read them, because last year I was reading that book. So you're reading it 1 year later, and it's interesting. So what we are doing is we are building the little atoms piece by piece together, and that kind of makes up the whole one cell, and that cell is duplicatable. That is exactly what we do. Is like, it's the plug and play model, and it's like that cell is like the source code is the mother business, which is Conscious Success, and all of these little cells, even though they're like mirrored and duplicated, the connection is still the spinal cord of God is connected to the mother business, which is Conscious Success.
Yeah.
So ultimately, that's what they're doing, is like systemizing everything, converting it into a model that has every piece of the puzzle, all this stuff, the technical bits and everything. So when somebody comes and they want to get they want to become like a Conscious Success coach, part of the franchisee, they're getting a complete business, but at the same time, they're getting access to a customer base that wants the processing, the coaching. And what we do is we actually never let go of that part of the puzzle as well, because we want to have access and overview to the whole chain. We want to see how the customers are interacting, how are they buying. We can use the example of the McDonald's. Like, we want to see how the customers are buying the burgers, how are they buying the processing, the coaching, how are the franchisee owners interacting with them, where's their problems, their challenges. But at the same time, you are working with them in the back end on a business to business, business owner to business owner relationship. On the front end, they are working with everybody, and you're also working with everybody on a coaching and processing relationship. Does that make sense, how we kind of like put everything together?
Oh, you cut out there for a moment. Just say that last bit again.
Yeah, does that make sense? Like how everything kind of comes together into a plug and play model, basically. We just can call it the model, because it's just a replicated model of your business. So first we gotta this is what the next 12 months is important, because we gotta build this model step by step, this whole system, this cell, test every bit of it, and that becomes like the Genesis template that then everybody else can then come and just mirror. But But what we do is, instead of like, obviously we have the fundamentals there, all the processes, all the systems and everything. We want to have a lot of room for improvement, and the uniqueness of each coach, each of the person that comes and works with you, because they're going to have, it's like you said, they're a whole universe walking in a temple body vessel container. So you want to have their wisdom, their point of view integrated within that model. So it becomes something of their own, but the backbone platform, the backbone cell, the processor, the chip, the core that it all runs on is the mother business, for example, the conscious success.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. Yeah. It makes total sense. And I think that's important, actually, because one of my biggest challenges is letting go of control, because I want to do everything. And I think that will be a really, really, it's a powerful experience. And it's important, right? Because a lot of people have a lot of wisdom that I don't have that they can add. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I was listening to a recording last night as well. I just sat there in my bed and played the whole video, and I just like, sitting there just observing it. And I could see like this kind of like the visions for the future were like popping up into my head, similar to like what we call downloads. I could see that in the future, especially with you wanting to franchise things and having the ascension centers and everything, and you with your coaches being in the front line doing the coaching, the processing, and me with the business team and everybody in the back end sort of taking care of the what do you call technical side of things, the business, like running the core, the data centers and all of that. If you can use the example of internet, because really internet is right now it's like a divine matrix. It's a tool for us to connect and share our wisdom on a global scale. So it was interesting that you brought that up. I was like, okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's it in terms of the business. It's becoming very clear to me now where I'm heading, how I'm heading in that direction. The long-term vision is very clear. It's becoming clear to me on how we've got to apply the personal development, the spiritual development, and the technical skills. All of those are becoming clear. There's a lot of clarity. My only kind of question, I guess, at the moment is like, in terms of the actual logistical side of building the systems and things, how much of that are you going to do, and how much do I do, and like how do we work in that sense? Because obviously, let's take ClickFunnels for example. We're going to be using ClickFunnels, right? So we're going to start building funnels and things like that. Like, how much of that will you do? How much of that will I do? Like, how does that work between us?
Yeah, very important question. The right time as well. So in the first 6 months, like I said, we're going to be doing weekly calls or longer. We cover a bit of the topics, the ideas behind what each system is, what it's for, how it works and everything, why we need it, and really just the fundamentals behind each of them. So we can have the kind of like the holistic, spiritual, intuitive knowledge of what it is and all of that. And then we talk about like the tactical side of things, like how this system actually works step by step, how we implement it, what are the processes, and then the execution. So this is a big difference with the business transcendence mastery, is where we actually, on the end of the call, we do the work together. So when it comes to like building the systems, the funnels and all of that, so we do a good chunk of it on the call. And depending on how we feel, we'll just probably like continue it longer in that call if we need it. If not, and after that, you go and you do whatever is left. And if you need help, then we jump on a call on the next one that we finish it together. So it's like initially, you're going to be the main thing you're going to be doing is basically answering questions, honestly. Just and basically sharing how you do this, how you do that, and we'll be recording them. And here's the big difference: is like before we actually do each call, you will have a small quiz, like a few questions to get everything, the main things off your mind. And when we have like a basic foundation for each call, so I can like structure things properly. And then on the call, once we get to the execution part and everything, and throughout the call, as we go through the knowledge, the wisdom, and the processing, and like that, everything you have already put in the quiz, the little pieces, the perspectives will start coming in, like, oh, okay, that, all right, that. And then towards by the end of the call, once we get to the question and answer part of the thing as well, the execution part, then the extra pieces that were missing will come out of your head, and we integrate that into our existing system, and that comes into a document that then is specific to your business. So every call will have like a basic template that we work with, they start with, and we build your business on that Genesis template. So it's like we already have that cell, that Genesis template. So we build on that. I actually have this whole cell. I can show you right now how it actually works on a really quantum fractal scientific thing, because by nature I'm a scientist. I studied science in school and everything. So I'm gonna find it right now. But in the meantime, does that make sense, like how the whole cells and everything works? So here it is. I call it the Transcendence Infinity Cell. So you can, it's like, I'll show you right now, but basically like we have all the different dimensions and everything, how all the information comes in, comes out, but you can quickly like observe it. Like it's like a, I'll explain to you some basics ones. Really, it's like it has a inner environment, which is really the core. That is what each of your business is, like that's the cell. And then it has an outer environment that interacts with the environment around us. Like, so this would be, for example, this will be modeled in each of like the core dimensions of the business. We can say, for example, this is the system for the product itself. So let's say this is the super conscious mastermind. These are the different weeks we cover. And here is how people come in to get access to it. Here's what happens, how the information flows, how we gather the feedback. And this is like the input side of things. That's like people coming in, new clients, like the coaching calls, the weekly sessions, the training for the new coaches that to do that. And then when the client goes through this whole process, the output is like somebody doing the healing, achieving freedom in their spiritual, the mental, the emotional, the physical, the financial, all of that. But at the same time, we can then mirror this to like the coaches that you work with. So this is the product, the service that you're offering. The coach comes in, you show them, hey, here is how it works, here is how you do it. And then you implement your own wisdom. They create their own product using your template, and out of that comes their own business, which is something that they build, but you kind of gave them the template to work on. So they're all in the franchisee, they're all like your business partner, just like having it's like basically the mother business, the conscious success, fractalizing itself in a self-similar manner. Because if we remove the template, then it's not self-similar to the original template. It becomes something completely offshoot, a completely new thing that has no resonance, no rhythm with the mother business. So it's like, these are like the drawings and everything that came through. But by the time we get to the actual implementation on the calls, we will have like a digital version and we'll implement a lot of this. So the reason I keep the original drawings is because that is the actual Genesis template that is coming through this body, through this temple. So yeah, I keep them on the walls as well, because really ultimately these patterns, these tools, all of this, they're really just patterns, these shapes and everything, to help us become that transformation.
Mhm.
If that makes sense, like this, the model and everything that we're building in the business, like for example, that Merkaba thing, I'm just using all this as an example so you can see things visually. That's all it is. It's all symbolic. It's all symbolic. So it's like helping us become that transformation where like in the business, all these different dimensions all working together, the energy is flowing. And I've kind of like asked for help when it comes to like the energy flow from, I think it's Archangel Metatron, who kind of manages the energy flow in the universe and everything. So like getting feedback from all those different attributes of God from source, because ultimately we are God. It's like this thing or that is not separate from it at all. It all has its own consciousness, all awareness, depending on our perspective. If we think it is alive, it has awareness, it can communicate with us, because these things actually pop into my dreams, so it will. But if we say, okay, it's just a piece of drawing, it has no meaning at all, it's worthless, then it will be that, because our perception defines it. So that is some like teaser into how the business transcendence mastery is so radically different, into how we implement it, how the work is done. And in terms of the technical side of things, the execution of all of it, initially I'll be doing pretty much like 80 to 90% of it really, to get everything going. But what will happen is we will be recording everything, every single piece, like, and I will be showing you how we build the program live, because I actually did build the other two programs like this. We did a call to the clients, and then I put them on the platform with everything else. But we'll be doing on a weekly basis. So you will see live how the business transcendence mastery gets built with a live example, how everything is implemented, and we mirror that exact same thing with your business.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Anything else?
No, I think that's perfect. I think that's it. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So Aaron, like, what do you want to do now? What's next for you?
Is there any questions that you want to ask me?
Not really. I've explained the basics for now. The next steps are really simple. We're going to be, the other thing is like, we are going to be taking it slightly steadier. We're going to have a really slow momentum that's going to be slowly building up, because initially it's like, if you force things too much, if I force these things to come out of your mind, out of your soul, your wisdom, it's just going to cause a lot of like blockages, frustration for both of us. So really the process is going to be really steady, really gradual. We build things step by step, and we're actually going to be like moving. It's like a movie script. I've been in some films, I did some filming in this year. What I observed was like the script, even though they have like a sequel, it goes into one script, but the way they film it is like they film this part first, this part, this, next. And it completely changed the way I see reality. Like every little bit of the movie and everything is like controlled by the director, which is really what we are. So really, it's not just one executive director. There is a thrice great director here, because your wisdom, my wisdom, our soul kind of like merges. That's what that whole cell was like. We have the one infinity on this side, one infinity on this side. In the middle is this massive a sphere, which is really our minds, our souls, like kind of projecting itself, making this hologram in the middle, this orb that is our consciousness together, making one that is three. It's like the two becomes three. So it's like we having like one director that is made of three: our wisdom, my wisdom, your mind, my heart, my soul, your soul, coming together. So that's how we direct every bit of the business in the back end. In the front end, people will see little incremental changes in the business, the structure, the marketing, the branding. So I'm showing you from the front end what your clients will see as we go through these changes. So the way we communicate this, all of these changes and everything, is through the direct relationship marketing. That is our portal through which we slowly, step by step, share the wisdom, the changes and everything gradually. After we have tested it ourselves in the back end first. So everything gets first built, tested. We tested, happy, cool. Now we put it into our plan. So with the whole marketing, I know the social media content sharing and all of that is a bit of challenge and frustration for you, and it is for a lot of the healers and coaches, because I know you guys come here, you do that side, which is like absolute, that's where your magic golden zone, that's what you call it, for example. And then when it comes to the technical, the marketing side of things, it kind of, it kind of builds a bit of frustration there.
You know what? I'm looking forward to it this year. I've got a totally different relationship to sales and marketing than I did a year ago. Like that's the part I'm genuinely excited about. Like, you know, what I want to be doing is I want to get clarity and the models and everything done as soon as I can, because and then like one of my goals is to spend the second half of the year just selling, spend the whole time selling, the whole time. You know, like I've just done training with some of the world's best sellers, you know, that sell from the stage, they sell on webinars, that, you know, and these guys are just unbelievable. And I just done some training with them, and I can't wait. Like I know I'm going to be able to, I know I'm going to be able to sell. Like my conversion rate is going to be off the scale. That's the bit I'm excited about.
Cool. So the Genesis 6 months is really just creation mode, building. But at the same time, like we said before in the Transcendence Mentorship Program, like we are doing two things fundamentally. We are building the business that is going to bring the revenue tomorrow, which is what we are doing now, which is the mother business, the contract success, the franchise and everything. But at the same time, we got to sustain and deliver the service to the business that is bringing revenue today, which is to your existing model. And here's the cool thing. It's like this, what we are doing is ultimately forking in the crypto world. You know, they have the Bitcoin fork and everything. We are basically, I'll use the spiritual side, like we are basically taking the conscious success and creating a brand new timeline, but the existing one is still goes. It never stops, because that is running in the background, that is in the consciousness of the people. But these two timelines are going and they're dancing, they're kind of at some points they meet together. It's like that wave, that the DNA, that's what it is, like the two different strands like kind of dancing. And eventually, as we split it, and then there's a long period of time, usually about at this scale, about 3 to 6 months before that the two can meet again. And that point that they meet is where the full transformation has happened on a basic scale, which is really our 6 months goal. So that is first 6 months we build, we test everything, we create the basic model. And then the next 6 months is really just focused on the promotions, which is what we initially will be doing it just organically with the organic promotions. Once that builds momentum and everything, which we will be doing is starting from the beginning. Then we just really the plugging in the paid marketing is the easiest part, because the paid marketing is a service where I'll be managing all the campaigns and everything. And what we do is the campaigns we build right now organically, those will be put into the paid, because it's like the basic version works here organically, the contents, the promotion, the posts, the videos. What we do in the paid is an advanced version of that. So that's how we like gradually go from really just no model at all to having a model. Works, cool. Now we scale it up gradually.
Perfect. Nice.
Awesome, that is done. And this is like what you do on the, even if it is like group selling, one-to-one selling in a room or whatever. We'll use example of like the group selling in an event, because that's what you do. You're more preferential toward. So you have like a little table, people just say, you know, hey, what's the card number? Cool, just write it down. I recommend always to write it down on a piece of paper in a notebook. And then once that is done, to get the address, boom, you just log into the portal, put in their details, ding, that's it. And, and this exact payment plan that we talked about, it's all automatically put into the system. So it knows like at this time, it will process the 7K, and at this time it will process 7K. So it's like completely automated. That takes a lot of pressure off my mind, your mind, that frees up the energy for us to focus on actually building.
Totally.
So welcome, you know, fly. And we're going to be using a lot of crystals and everything, you know, fly. Because you know, I'm bringing in my commercial modeling, the acting into the business with the whole spirituality and everything. It's just becoming something, honestly, something completely out of this world. I actually have a broom. I made it yesterday to walk around with it, like just hang it. It really just transcend people's perceptions of what they think is possible in this reality.
Wow, I love it. I love it.
Oh, fun time. I gotta bring the broom to you 1 second.
Wow.
With all the feathers and everything.
Wow, I love it. I love it.
Things have just become way too fun now.
I love it.
Yeah, I just remember like in the beginning of my childhood and everything, I was really, up until like 2011 and everything, I was really like the most chilled, happy dude you could find. But then there was that period about like 5-6 years of coming here in the early stages, kind of like that got pushed down like with the whole system, education and everything. And then it took me from 2018 till now to really just get that back and bring the fun back and just really like chill. Like, so the motto, my motto really, even spiritually, is like, I say, zero fucks given, fuck everything, fuck it all. With that attitude, we approach everything. It's like the Buddha says, their philosophy, think of every action that you take, think of it as if the future of the universe depends on it, but at the same time laugh at yourself thinking it makes any difference. It's like that paradox that kind of flips it and brings that absolute neutrality in the middle. So a lot of these things are just to bring.
That's what Kudor says. He says the key to life, the key to business, the key to everything. He says you've got to care. You've really got to care, just not too much.
That's what the yogis talk about. We care too much. We attach this emotional feeling to something, and that is what happens with the business, because we'll be mirroring everything back to the business from now on with every conversation. It's like when we build a business as business owners, we form this attachment to this thing. It becomes like, people call it, it's my baby, it's my life, it's my creation, and all of this. So we got to get that mentality. It's like you got to split it out of you. It's like it's become this entity that is like it has its own like aura within you. So you got to like take the timeline out. So that is really what the whole fun is about. So let me quickly cover the next steps for us, because this is really an important end of the year. The holidays and everything is coming. So yeah, the beginning of January, I have my quarterly break, so I'll be off for about 10 days. The earliest, the best would be like the anytime after the 13th of January for our first call. But before that, you will be doing some light planning, like prioritization, like getting clarity on all the outcomes and everything. So when is the best time for our first official call? Anytime after 13th of January. Monday.
What's the best, I forgot to ask you this, what's the best way of communicating throughout our journey together this year?
Yes. So we'll be using WhatsApp Business. It's the same number.
Okay.
Actually, from since I have a number, I have two phones now, just one light colored, one dark, to represent the duality. So the business has its own WhatsApp number, so you'll get a brand new business number. And everything business will be communicated through that channel. It will be a group, so all the chat and everything is within one structured place. And everything outside the business, like the personal stuff, anything else, you'll be texting the existing number. So and then later on, when we have like this is again like with your business as well, because really WhatsApp has become like a business tool as well. They have a split as well. This is like we can see this split happening in all the businesses around this. Like there's massive shift towards effectiveness, efficiency, and mastery. It's like it's a global phenomena. For example, it's like this whole virus and everything. It kind of like you said, you had the virus, but it's like it's a piece of knowledge. It's a few cells coming to you with some new information. Okay, the virus is not what we think it is. It's it's an entity. It's a being. So that's the method of communication. And in terms of fixing the time, so will be something like, do you prefer early morning or later on in the evening, afternoon?
Probably mornings, to be honest.
Cool.
Yeah, if we did, would 9:30 work for you?
Let me see. So 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. Yeah. So that will give us. Actually, 9:30 is perfect because 9 o'clock I do my KPMs reporting for my sleep and everything, and 9:30 is like when the official work starts. So the timing will be a fixed one, 9:30 a.m. The first one will be Monday, 17th of January, 2022.
Perfect.
And we'll stick to that time as long as reasonably possible. Obviously, any week we have anything going on, we'll just adjust the time accordingly. Like
how long do you expect the first call to be?
So the calls will have about 90 minutes to cover the strategic and tactical. And so that really is like 100% of the chunk of the call. And then so 9:30, 10:30, 11. So we have like around 1 hour to just do some work, just properly, like execution completely.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah, it's really around like 3 hours, 30 minutes. Each call in the beginning, because we'll have like breaks and everything, obviously, to
okay, what do you want me to get prepared and done over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to cover next, was to, let me just write down Genesis BTM Cool.
This is really exciting. We're going to absolutely just explode next year.
Cool. Yeah. So if you're ready, I'll like quickly, briefly like outline the next steps for us. So the quiz you filled, the Transcendence Clarity quiz, gave us the foundation of what we needed, and then the strategy session gave us everything, the missing piece. So what I did was like I put your clarity quiz in a choice analysis tool. If you remember, we had that little tool where we put the choice, like how much each action would take, the resources we need, the time we need. You will see, when you see it, it's really the same thing but slightly evolved. So I've already put all the actions, all the ultimate goals and everything you wanted to achieve into that different like dimensions in there. And when I transcribe the start session, I'll have the missing pieces. So really within the next 1 week, we'll have that ready. So you'll get access to the folder. And within that folder, the only thing will be is just like a spreadsheet with all your outcomes, with all the different dimensions. And you will be going over them, looking at them, seeing how, okay, I can add a bit of detail to that. I can make that a bit better. So it's like looking at your own, what you thought your outcomes, your dreams was for all the different dimensions. And then looking at it like, whoa, that thing is already out of my head. It's like a really cool feeling because all that emotional attachment dissolved. It's like you put it there, boom. And you basically, up until like the 17th, you just work on that and really get them defined. Really like, is this what I want? Or this, like, what is the best way to do them? And then I'll also send a little quiz just to get the basic information about the structure ready, because really the first few calls we'll be doing is really getting the plan set up so we can actually have a tool, a process to follow, like how we're approaching this, because this is like a gigantic thing, getting this plug and play model. So we just gotta like have that template, the structure to give us a lot of flexibility. We'll be following the Transcendence Plan of Action. Is the old version. So on our first call, we'll be really just transferring all of that outcome and everything. We'll be like looking at how much each one takes. We'll prioritize them based on the numbers. So the tool actually gives us, hey, here is the score for this outcome. You should work on this first. We then prioritize it. And then we write down, okay, here is when this project starts. Here is when it ends. And that then gets transferred into the plan of action, which is step by step tells us, okay, here's what you got to do. Here's next one, next one, next one, next one. It's really just a lot of the tools from the Transcendence Mentorship Program that is evolved. We are implementing that in real life. And these are the tools and everything that you will be evolving and integrating in your business to manage the relationship with your clients, with your coaches and everything. So that quiz will give us all the information we need for our first call, which is really just prioritizing and planning. And we'll take it from there, really, because at this point we want to keep it light. Simple.
That's perfect then. That's perfect.
So
I'm going to try and finish my book as well by the 17th.
Oh, awesome.
So, because I want to use the book as a marketing tool. It's going to be an amazing marketing tool next year as well. Yeah. Okay. So we've got the quiz, finish my book and get clear on the objectives and outcomes. Simple. Yeah,
it's really that's it. So you have like one great, twice great outcome that you want to accomplish. So within this twice great outcome is going to be three pieces, that Trinity, that Holy Trinity. We have that like the pyramid. So you'll have that three thing within that one outcome. The first thing will be like looking at the choice analysis tool. We call it CAT. So you're looking at the CAT. It's also a symbolic reference to the cats in real life, because the spiritual people like cats as well. So you'll be looking at your outcomes, your prioritizations, and really just adding in any extra pieces of data that you think is missing or anything. And then that will be done. You will also have like, you can look at it like it has like how long it takes for this to accomplish, how much money is needed. So you will have that natural intuitive knowledge. Like if you want to like put in the numbers there, you're free to do. And once that is done, by then you will have the week 0 onboarding quiz, which really just gets the basic information out of you. It's like what questions we got to work on, what's the plan, and that is it. And then the last piece is like, once you have done those 2 things, it will give you enough like knowledge to start gathering raw material. So you will have another folder added in the co-working space, will be called prioritization space. So we just dump everything in that one folder, all the drawings you have, all the diagrams, all the notes, all the documents, all the videos, anything related to your business, your program, dump it in that folder. Obviously, if you have them in a folder structure, put them into that folder structure as well. It's like you're basically copying it from your main drive, putting it there. And we'll be literally just analyzing them. And then depending on what we need each week, we'll just take them and put it into a structured folder that we are creating based on the systems that we're building for the business month by month. So really, ultimately, we have about like 12 systems together. And this 12 system it becomes one system, which is like 13. So it's like we have really about a month for one system to get it completely dialed in, honed in, structured. But there will be some systems like the program itself that will run longer, that will be like going for the whole year, because we'll be like building pieces of it the week by week and everything. So that's really those 3 things.
Awesome.
Yeah, I will see you on the Monday, 17th of January, 2022, 9:30 a.m. for our official first call. So all of this, everything we do, like the onboarding and everything, like the contract, the agreement, it will be all digital. So you will get the email welcoming you. Hey, welcome to the Business Transcendence Mastery. And you create your own account, log into the platform. It will be initially like a really blank space. And you will see live week by week how that gets filled in with the weekly videos and everything. So you get to like taste it full circle firsthand, be a part of it, see it get built, see the system itself get built, mirrored in your business, and then see it being built in your business for your program. So it's really all I can say is a multi-dimensional experience. That's all it is. It's not just one dimension. It's really just the sphere. That's why I have this thing. It really has about 12 angles around it, realistically, for one sphere to see the whole thing. This is what the cell looks like. We have the circles, but this is a 3D model. This is a weapon. Its official name is Transcendence Lighthouse. It's just created.
That's funny.
But I like to like hide secrets and divine secrets in plain sight, in names and in patterns and things like that, because really the people like who get to a certain spiritual awareness, they intuitively get the telepathic message that's encoded in these things.
Clues are everywhere. The clues are everywhere. If you practice your ability to see truth, then you will see clues everywhere.
It's right. It's right there. The people knows. It's right there. Awesome. Yeah. We've got another Perfect. 2 minutes. Anything you want to talk? Anything you want to cover? We'll cover them.
No, just want to say thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for the work you do. And I'm excited to smash it out of the park next year. It's going to be a big year.
Awesome. So, arigato. Namaste.
Namaste.
This is how it's done. The 3. Because ultimately, what you will notice is like everything we do in the Business Transcendence Mastery is focused on this number 3, the Holy Trinity and all of that. And and that 3 is actually a 9 because each 3 has its own cube, its own triangle. So it becomes a 9, which is really the source, the source. Honestly, awesome. she just got too fun this year for me, for all of us, really. Just like once we get that holistic spiritual awareness and everything integrated, it's just like yeah. I'll see you on the Monday, 17th of January. Have an awesome new year, actually. So yeah, enjoy the sun calendar, because really within the first month you will be splitting from this timeline. You will have your own timeline, your own calendar system. I'll show you what we have been up to this year, like really just creating. It actually took a month for me to split from the standard timeline into my own timeline. That was really an interesting observation. Like it was really an eye-opening experience, because the actual decision happened really quickly. But it was years in the making, but the actual splitting of the event, it actually took 30 days to complete. So you will have like about the first month is really important, because we are really just splitting your business from its original timeline. We are splitting you from the collective timeline that's really just been stagnant for too long. And this is what's happening with all these coaches and everything. Every person we heal, we coach, we empower, we transcend. Like they create their own timeline, their own universe where they are in control. So have fun. Awesome. I can, what I've noticed is that I can, instead of like seeing auras and things like that, which I'm still working on, I've been able to like feel it, like the energy of someone with their thinking, their emotions, their feelings, and it really is so sensitive. And so I can see that you're in a very high vibrating state, almost vibration less, because, and I guess like when we get to a certain point, that is stillness, like the vibration kind of like, it doesn't really fully stop, but it is in an equilibrium that it looks like it is stopped. So kind of like ageless, timeless. So yeah, I've got the quiz and everything printed. So this is going to be something kind of new we are trying, where we honestly going through the quiz and like analyzing everything and then restructuring them into like a list of objectives, outcomes, experiences that we want to have for the next 12 months. I could see like it from a 3D perspective, like, whoa, I can see it from the self, from the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the financial dimensions, kind of forming a holistic 3D view of what's going on. So I was like, wow, this makes pretty good sense. And I noticed that it's kind of like a mirror of what I'm doing, what I've been doing, which was something really interesting. Like, what a cool synchronicity, you know? So this call is going to be also a strategy session, but we're going to use the quiz as the main foundation for us to. So how this call will go is this is going to be a fun one. First, we'll, as always, really get some more clarity on the current situation, what you got going on for all these different dimensions in a sequence order. And then we're going to define, we also have them defined, but we'll get more clarity on some of them, like what exactly is it that you want for the next 12 months, and ultimately really with the ascension of humanity and conscious civilization and all of that. And at the end of that, we will have a clear 12 months plan of exactly what we need to do. And, you know, if it really absolutely feels energetically aligned, we'll go into detail exactly how that plan would work, like getting everything implemented together. So how does that sound to you so far?
That sounds beautiful.
Awesome. So I got the list of questions and everything I've kind of structured for this call. So really going before we get started, like what was it about my invitation with the quiz and everything, about the message that kind of inspired you to complete the quiz and then schedule this call?
I realized that I'm operating on a very high level of awareness. Recently, actually, I just realized how high. I just started seeing images of truth, which was quite mind-blowing. So, and I realized that you are also operating at a very high level of awareness. So in my, what I kind of call my inner circle, which is people in my community, and it's also people in my team. So like yourself, if we work together, you're in my inner circle, you're in my team, you're supporting me, you're teaching me, you're mentoring me, and vice versa. So what I like, my inner circle, I've made a decision, has to be people that think big, that are operating at a very high level of awareness. And I can see that you're doing that. So I was like, okay, let's explore as the new beingnesses that we are compared to where we were when we last connected.
Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. And tell me more about this high level of awareness. Like, what exactly does that mean to you specifically?
So high level of awareness means, for me, it means that an awareness of the bigger goal, which for me is what I call a harmonious civilization. And my holographic image in my mind of that is like Atlantis. It's like returning humanity back to the time of Atlantis. So high awareness means to have an awareness of that, to have an awareness of self spiritually, but also have what I call spiritual integrity. And for me, spiritual integrity is about having such a high level of spiritual awareness, nothing in the physical world can hold you back or take you out by fear, because we're bigger than the fear. So a high level of awareness is all of those things. And for me, what I've noticed is that people with real spiritual integrity get rich fast. And they get rich fast because they're doing the right thing for the right reasons all the time. And they're serving something bigger than themselves. And they get rich fast as well because they also have a vision to use that money for the right value exchange and energy exchange to do the right thing for the right reasons. So a high level of awareness means people that have an understanding of those concepts and have spiritual integrity. So they know who they really are. They're seekers of truth.
Absolutely. Yeah, indeed. Just have to write that last sentence down, like system to focus your creation and energy to explode. Because that's what it all comes back to at the end of the day. It's like we have infinite energy, and wherever we focus with that thing just explodes like a galaxy. Awesome. Thanks for sharing all that with me. Pretty awesome. So at this point, what I'll do is I'm going to giving you an overview, really just basic, simple, high level, specifically based on your situation, like if you were to work together on the next 12 months, exactly how would it look like at a high level? Is that something you would want now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just to let you know, I've got another about 17 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it will be 10 minutes will be enough. 10-15 max.
Perfect.
Let me write the name down here first, because this has been I remember last time when we had our call, I had a pretty good idea of like about 100% of what you needed, how we could get there, but there was a little bit missing, and it was really not about you. It was more about me getting my own spiritual awareness, everything kind of integrated back into the new awareness and everything. And that was the extra 20%. So with that integrated now, I can now like confidently say that we are ready to move into the market leadership stage for you, which is really the business transcendence mastery. And I've held that back for a long time just for you. I didn't even care about like having anybody else, because I knew like this was something we probably agreed before like coming here, getting the systems and everything designed, because like you, I have the business, the coaching, the system, the technical sides and all of that, like it's absolutely done. And you have that part is like kind of a little bit weakness. With me is like the more of the coaching, the processing, that side is a little bit weak, but you have that. So it's like throughout this process is like it's an exchange of energy and creation. So it kind of like balances it perfectly. So going forward, really just that's the offer, like getting the business transcendence mastery. And what it is at the highest level, it is taking the business completely out of your mind, out of every cell, every atom of your being, and creating its own entity, its own system, its own model. And the model exactly is the that one, the Transcendence Infinity Merkaba. What I want to mention here is that it's not going to be like that exact structure in your business, because we will be making that exact system with your ideas, with your model, with that vision that you have in your mind, with that 2D, that hologram structure. So it's like using that as a template, as a backbone platform, and getting the system structure. So that is what the business will look like energetically once all the model, all the system is put together. So it's like all the circles represent different dimensions in the business. So it will be like focusing first on really what we do is we start with the product at its core first. So the main diamond in the middle, the core, that is for example, our focus would be the superconscious mastermind. Something for us to be, we start with focusing, because really the business transcendence mastery, by its very own nature, the transition that we are going through after the 12 months is having a one-to-many business model that is end-to-end systemized, structured, everything processed. So we start with the product at its core first, like getting clarity on what exactly is that your market wants. And we always start with a quiz, like a survey, research, similar to what we have done, to really understand it from their perspective, their words, exactly from different dimensions. And then we mirror your coaching, your processing, your wisdom into like a few different weeks in the program, to exactly like similar to what we have, like the financial, the spiritual, the mental, different dimensions. Those will be basically weeks. So that's how we create the program. So that's the product. And then we kind of work backwards, and then we look at it like, hey, how are we getting people into this program, into this service? So that is where next we focus on the enrollment process, what we call systemized enrollment process. Like this is the point where when on the call, when the person has said yes, that is when the enrollment starts until they get into the program. So we systemize that so they can then automatically, the payment and everything, the technical side processed, and they go into the program themselves, and they have some basic videos and everything to get them started. So that's the enrollment process. And then another step before that is the actual sales and closing process. So instead of like having just a really sporadic process, like just call, hey, this is what I do and all of that, we put it into a 2-step process where we first have in the beginning, we are going to start with a hybrid model where we have some sort of quiz and a simple call, like a 10-15 minutes call, or this could even be just a message that you're just getting to know them, similar to what you're already doing. But instead, now we're using a structured process, like, here, these are the questions you ask to quickly qualify, is this person really soul aligned? Are they energetic aligned or not? And then after that, we take them to a similar call to this, which is what you would now do, like a demo and all of that. But instead of it's a mix of demo, because the way we are talking, the way we're presenting is like giving them a demo, but it's a sales process, a sales call. So initially it starts with that, but it evolves. Like when you said we have like paid ads and all of that, the paid ads, the funnel is that exact call process mirrored in a video. So before we can put in the paid ads, we gotta get that process, that sales process, really honed in, dialed in, like the script, the process, structured, everything. So it's like the video, the webinar you create, it's basically taken in through the exact process. Like, hey, here is the where you are, here is like where you want to go, and here's how we, the conscious success, the super conscious mastermind.
See, that's where I want to do. I want to get people on into the mastermind by selling to a room. And that's the difference here. I don't want to get people on one-to-one calls. I want to get them onto a training or something. Basically, I want to get them in a room, whether it's a live room or a virtual room. I want to get them in a room, sell one-to-many. So that's the process I want to focus on.
Got it. Initially, that is exactly the process we end up with. But in the beginning, in the Genesis stage, we got to first test it individually, because that testing gives us everything we need for a live event. You can still do the live events and like group selling. That's what it's called, like group selling, whether it's a live or in person, it doesn't really matter. But it's like testing the market, because once we find a few people that this process, the sales and everything resonates with, then that is like the fractal is like self-similar in the whole universe, because that pattern is repeated in your whole market. So we take that and then magnify it in a group setting, and then later on magnify it in a paid marketing, which really just reaches like hundreds and thousands and millions of people in the market, and attracts the people that we tested in the one-to-one and one-to-many. That is the process we evolve it. So that is the sales process. It's really like at this point, we're giving it a high level, but when we come to the sales process specifically, it will be like based on your business model, like, you know, whether you want to do it on a live setting or on a call like this. Those are like it's customized to your specific needs. And then I said before the sales and closing comes the direct relationship marketing, which is where the promotions, the social media contents, the videos, how to manage all of that, like having a proper promotion plan, when you're posting, all of that, everything step-by-step process, like everything documented. Like if you want to post this video, here's the exact process you follow. If for the promotions, here's the exact process we follow. So it's like getting all of that systemized structure. I've already got that, all of that I've been testing, especially this year, creating all of that into a system. And what we do is we mirror that in your business, but integrating your way of doing it, because you're already doing all of it already. So really a lot of this process is me getting like what we call a system champion, me questioning you, and we together on the calls, getting everything out of your head into the paper, and then merging that into our existing system. So it becomes a completely unique, custom-made system that is based on your business, based on your model.
Awesome.
And within
what systems do we use to do that? That's one thing I want to know. Like, what systems and platforms do we actually use to set all of this up on?
The promotions, the marketing, and all of that.
Yeah, and also the things like for the payments and the webinars and like just everything really, the funnels.
Yeah. So at this stage on the call, what I typically do is, instead of like focusing on because there's so many different platforms and so many different payment methods and webinar softwares and all of that, instead of focusing that, and this stage, throughout the years, I've tested different ones with like webinar payment methods. So we have we always give at least two options. Like, here is the one we have always used and tested, this like the dominant choice, and here is a secondary choice. So you choose between those two. But at this point, we focus mostly on like the process itself, like having that system in place, and you can easily choose between the platform, like here we use this or that. And we always have a backup, because in the case one of them, something happens to the company, to the business, we automatically, like, it's like mirroring that exact system into a different service provider. So it's like we have that, all of that payment method, everything in an offline version in your business, in your company, like mapped out like that. So when we're using a different platform, a different service, like just a line that connects that dimension to another one, really. So I'll give you an example, like with the payment processor, we use like Stripe, ClickFunnels, and all of that. Really, those are the two main ones that gives all of the promotions and everything together combined, honestly. So for example, the Stripe covers the onboarding with the payment and invoice, everything automated, like it's not sending invoice or anything like that.
Is that what you're using now?
Since day one, honestly, like since day one, I started with having a company. I didn't sign up a client until I had that payment, the company properly structured, set up. Like getting things done properly like that, it's just a whole new level of business. And within the promotions and everything, all of this will be, it's like this whole system complete is going to be in our co-working, we call it a co-creation, co-directing, cooperation workspace. So it's like me and you, we are like the two different CEOs in the business working together, and having all of this first created in an offline version in the drive. Everything is structured, systemized, and then we just slowly, bits by bits, mirror that into other like online tools and all of that. So that is like within the direct relationship marketing comes the funnel itself, a complete funnel that takes people to step by step. We know that when somebody goes to that funnel, they come out either a client or somebody who will either never come back to us at all, which is cool as well, or somebody who will still be in our community that need a little bit of nurturing and all of that. So we have that different, the way they come out is all mapped out. We already talked about all of this in the TMP program. So all of this is really just implementing all of that, but adding some new strategies, some new concepts, but really taking it to a whole new level, like taking the business completely systemized. So that is the marketing. And then comes like the operations itself, like the business operations, like how do you do like when and how you do the coaching calls. As I was saying, that the clock just hit 11:11. So with the operations, because I know you mentioned like the technical side of things is a big one for you. If I can find my notes somewhere here, really just the technicals, the systems itself is the main one. So we then, with the business operations, we focus on the technical side of things, the webinars, the email softwares, the social media platforms itself, like how do you manage the operations of the business, like when a client comes in through, like what if they have any support questions, all of that. It's like really just mapping out the different departments in the business that everybody knows exactly what they're doing. So it's not really just tied to anybody individually. It's just that each dimension of the business, each department has its own individual like folder with its own systems, processes. So anybody can just follow that and implement it. So your partner, a VA would be like, initially we start with that, like getting the posting and the low value activities. And gradually that person evolves into becoming your marketing operations and
that's actually what I want to do. Is every time I complete an action, I want to document it and video it. So I'm doing this step, I'm doing this step, I'm doing this step, so that when we then start onboarding, and whether they come in-house or whether they're still out-house, whatever, when people start working with Conscious Success, doing marketing and other stuff, I just literally, the first day in the office, all you got to do is watch that video, do that action, and literally learn every step of the process from me, us and our videos and what we've done. So anyone can come in and do any role in any moment. Awesome.
Got it.
Okay.
And then there is another step after that, which is This, the way I'm explaining to you, they're not in any specific order. The order we do is specific to your business. So then comes like having the cash flow management and growth, which comes like the accounting, the getting all the finances tracked and everything. And then there's another one, which is what we call repeat business and referrals, which is really having a process in place where, you know, what if somebody wants to do some, you have really a spiritual leader, business, an entrepreneur, business leader, an entrepreneur. They want to do some process coaching. They want to go evolve from the superconscious mastermind to some process coaching, or some processing, or some coaching, the 25-hour. So we have a process like upsell them into that. That basically in at the high level covers the business. So really we have 13 different departments within the business in total. Really the 0, 1, 2, the first three in the middle are really the product, the sales and closing, and the promotions, really the core three, and everything else like the operations, the onboarding. The onboarding is part of the operations anyway. The cash flow management, the repeat business, referrals kind of builds around that. That's really it.
Awesome. Perfect.
The calls, the way we do is in the first 6 months, we're going to be doing weekly calls. Where we're doing, this is a big shift, because we're going to be actually like now in each call, we'll be doing the strategic, the tactical, the execution together in one call. So the calls will be slightly longer, but it will start with the high level strategy, what exactly we're going to do. And then we do the work on the call. Whatever is left, you will be doing that in your own time, knowing exactly what steps you're going to take. And after the 6 months, you know, we go back into like doing weekly calls. They'll be shorter, more like, you know, okay, here's something that's happening in the business. Okay, here we need to optimize that. Okay, we've got to work on this. We've got to work on that.
Awesome.
There we go. Just
thank you very much.